Welcome back to IDP Bets. My name is Johnny the Greek. How is everybody doing tonight? Hope everyone had a good week 7. We are into week 8, and we've got a very special guest tonight. He is the director of betting at RPO Football, Patrick, better known as at tackleboxprops on Twitter. Patrick, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Glad to be back. Let's try to pump out some winners again this week.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you have a lot better luck at it than I do. That's for sure. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yep, before we get into it, though, as is tradition, these are not even suggestions. We're just discussing the bets we might be making personally. Set a limit and stick to it. For help with problem gambling, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. We did have a bit of a down week last week, 2-4 overall, but it was our first losing week in the last 3, so we're looking good. 30,000-foot view. Let's start with our special guest, Patrick. What do you got for your first favorite IDP bet, week 8?
All right, the first one I'm going to go with is Kazir White, over 7.5 tackles and assists. It's plus 100 on MGM right now. If you are in the RPO Discord, you would have gotten this one a little earlier today at 6.5, but I'll still take it here at 7.5. Kazir has gone over this in 4 of 6 games that he played full snaps this year. The Dolphins have now given up the most tackles in the NFL to linebackers at 21.3 per game. That's pretty heavily skewed from last week when they gave up 42 tackles to the Colts linebackers. But a majority of these games for the Dolphins have been without Tua at quarterback. He'll be back this week, and in the first 2 weeks of the season with Tua starting, they allowed 22 tackles to the position in each game. And not only that, they allowed 4 different linebackers in those 2 games to go over this total of 7.5. On the season, linebackers that play 100% of the snaps in their games have cleared a line of 7.5 at a 64% rate across the entire NFL. My model has this going over 60% of the time, so we'll take the even money on this one.
Yeah, good price on that, and good stats in the model there. Kazir's been pretty good for us this year, so yeah, I think that's a strong one. Chain's healthy, Mostert's healthy, so we should get a good run game out of Miami. So yeah, it looks good to me. Sounds good. All righty. So my first favorite one for week 8, I'm going to go to Nick Cross, who's been very good to us this year. He's got plus money this week, over 7.5 combined tackles at plus 105. So he's crossed this line in 6 of 7 games this season. And this week he gets a Houston team that's allowing 17 cornerback tackles per game. That's the second most throughout the entire league. Sorry, safety tackles per game. That's the second most throughout the entire league. So we've already seen this game back in week 1. Nick Cross had 14 combined tackles in week 1 in this exact same scenario, right down to Anthony Richardson being under center for Indianapolis. So this is the same game, and we're just expecting similar results. We don't even need similar results. We just need him to do mostly as good as he did the first time, and we'll be looking good. So Houston's favored by a touchdown. They're the second best team in the league for offensive time of possession, whereas Indy is dead last. On paper, Houston should have the ball offensively 7 more minutes over Indy this week. That means that Cross will be on the field early and often. He'll have plenty of opportunity to cross this line against the 10th best passing attack in the league. This combined with the tendency of Indy to give up safety tackles in the first place, plus those 14 tackles in week 1 in this exact same scenario, lead me to believe that we have a solid bet here overall. And a good price to it, plus 105 there. Patrick, what's your model say, and what's your take on this one? Nick Cross over 7.5.
Yeah, the model actually has him at 8.5 tackles this week and going over 67% of the time, it looks like, which looks pretty good for the plus money. And like you said, he's already done it once against them this year. And I mean, Anthony Richardson at quarterback, the Colts offense has been terrible. That defense is on the field so much, you got to like it.
Yeah, that whole defense has been super productive because of that situation. Yeah. It's, all right, what do you got for number 2?
All right, my next one, I'm going to take Jameen Sherwood over 7.5 tackles and assists. That's minus 130 on MGM right now. Sherwood seems to have the green dot locked down there right now. He's been playing pretty well. He's gone over this in 4 of 6 games where he's played over 80% of the snaps. One of the games was a blowout. One of the games that he missed was a blowout win against the Patriots, unfortunately. But he gets a chance at redemption this week. The Patriots have allowed the 8th most tackles to linebackers this year at 18.6 per game, and have actually been a little bit better since Drake May took over. They've been giving up 20.5 per game the last 2 weeks. In the 2 games that May has started, 3 linebackers have gone over this total. As a bonus, the New England stat crew has been the most generous stat crew to road teams on the Week 8 slate this week. Ooh, I didn't write what my model had for him. Hold on.
No worries.
I have him projected at 8.3 tackles and over nearly 65% of the time.
Nice. Yeah, he's been solid. He's been excellent this season. Side question: are you guys tracking the stat crews and how they give out tackles, or how do you come up with that info? And just wondering.
Yep. Every week I have that built into my model, so I run that and get how many solo tackles each stat crew gave to the home and away teams and how many assisted tackles, and then I just do it per opportunity. So it's tackles divided by how many completions, sacks, and rush plays there were. Incomplete passes don't count.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. That's good stuff. That's good stuff to know, right? Because God, who was that team back in? Was it like Seattle that was like famous for giving out?
Just everybody giving tackles to everybody.
Yeah. Back in
that
the
was
day.
probably that was probably even like 2 years ago. They were doing that like crazy. Yeah, I don't know how much it really helps it, but from like the last place or the worst team to the best team, you're talking, if a team averages 60 snaps in a game, you're talking 7 to 10 different or more tackles from worst to first given out. So every little bit helps.
Exactly. Yeah. Every little bit helps. Absolutely. I mean, there's so many of these come down to tackle anyway. That could be it right there. Yeah.
Right.
Nice. Good stuff there. Yeah, I'm with you on Sherwood. He's been excellent, and he does seem to have that role locked down. Alrighty, my second one is another plus money. We got some rare plus money bets this week. I'm gonna go Bobby Wagner over 9.5 combined tackles at plus 100. He's gone over this line in 2 of the last 4 games and 3 times overall this season. This week he gets a Chicago team that's allowing 19.2 linebacker tackles per game. That's 4th overall for the ranking. Between the short passes to Swift and the tons of carries for Swift, Roshan, and Caleb Williams when he takes off from the pocket, we should have plenty of chances for Wagner to get across this line. Beyond that, Washington might have to start Mariota this week. And if that's the case, they are far less likely to win the time of possession battle. And they're far more likely to be on defense quite a bit more. So we could see some extra defensive snaps for Wagner if it is Mariota instead of Jaden Daniels, which is looking likely at the moment. Also, Washington is just middle of the pack for their rush defense, but they are within the top third of the league for pass defense. Chicago likely knows this and will target that as a weakness in their game plan. So we may see some extra carries for Swift, Roshan, etc. And anytime we get that, we're getting increased likelihood that Wagner gets over that number. What do we think about this one? Bobby Wags over 9.5 plus 100.
Yeah, I got him at 9. I believe it was 9.8 tackles.
Cutting it close.
Yeah, 9.8, cutting it close. But you got plus money, so. And looking at the Bears matchup, it looks like they've allowed seven different linebackers already to have double-digit tackles. So you gotta like your chances with Bobby getting it too.
Yep. Yeah. Nice, good stuff there. We'll see what happens. We do like that plus money though. All right, what do you got for number 3?
All right, my last one here. It's a little scary, but I won with it last week, and we're going to try to win with it again. Ronald Darby under 4.5 tackles and assists, minus 125 on DraftKings. So Darby has only been under this number 3 times in 7 games so far this year, but most of those games have been without Tyson Campbell on the opposite side of him. Campbell came back last week, and him and Darby and Monteric Brown all rotated for the 2 outside quarterback positions. I'm expecting that Campbell will probably ramp up to 100% or near 100% this week, leaving Darby and Brown to hopefully split snaps on the opposite side of him. They play the Packers, who are 25th in tackles allowed to cornerbacks at 12.0 per game. They've only allowed 6 cornerbacks to go over this number through 7 games, and all 6 of those cornerbacks played at least 92% of the snaps. This is more of a bet on Darby's playing time continuing to either be equal to or less than the 70% snap share that he had last week. I have him projected at 3.8 tackles at a 75% snap share, which I think could be on the high side for his playing time.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. There's an opportunity here, right? Because there's fluctuation going on in the Jacksonville secondary. We were talking about this before we hit record here. It's like Darnell Savage, it displaced Antonio Johnson and is up at safety now, and they want to maybe try and keep Monteric Brown in there, so that hurts Darby. Tyson Campbell's back. There's an opportunity when there's fluctuation. We saw this last year with Michael Davis. There was a bet where he barely played, and you could have gone his under, and anyone paying attention knew he was going to barely play. So I'm with you on this. I think it's definitely possible.
Yep, I'm thinking so, and definitely hoping so.
Nice. Well, yeah. These are not even suggestions, so keep that to yourself, public. If we get this wrong,
Right.
Beautiful. Alrighty. So for number 3 here, I'm gonna go with Teron Johnson over 5.5 combined tackles. So this one is out of MGM at plus 105. So really good price there as well. So he's cleared this line in both games that he's been healthy for this season. 7 combined last week, 8 combined the week before. And this week, he's set up perfectly. He gets a Seattle team that allows 16.7 tackles per game to opposing corners. That is the most in the league. That's first overall. So a likely reason why they're allowing so many cornerback tackles is that they're the best passing attack in the league right now, 270 yards per game. They're also first overall in targeting wide receivers. So that all tracks, right? Great passing offense plus tons of completions to wide receivers equals tons of cornerback tackles. So that all tracks. We've also got a 46.5 point spread, total with only a 3-point spread. So that's Vegas telling us to expect a shootout and hopefully a back and forth affair, which is exactly the kind of setup that would give Teron what we need to get over this line. It was interesting. DK had Razul and they had Benford. They did not have Teron. So I think they might be scared of this. What's your take on this one?
Yeah, I got him projected at 6.7 tackles and over nearly 72% of the time. And yeah, I mean, I agree with you on this one. Teron is a baller. And actually that nickel spot has been great for the Bills this year. Before Teron, after his injury, Cam Lewis stepped in and just racked up tackles. And now that Teron's back, he's doing the same. So, like it.
Yeah. The position itself has been super productive. Absolutely. Good stuff there. Good stuff there. All right, so we went through that incredibly quick. I've got one I want to run by you, and then if you've got any other ideas or bonus bets you want to talk about, please feel free. But what do you think about this? So we were poking through these lines earlier, and I saw Derek Stingley. I don't like the number, but it's under 3.5 combined tackles at plus 110. The price is good against Anthony Richardson, who is legitimately completing 9.8 passes per game as a starting quarterback. That's a real stat. So there's not going to be much to eat for Stingley or Lassiter or D'Angelo Ross, whoever it is at the other corner this week. The Colts are also the fifth worst team across the league for allowing cornerback tackles at just 10.7 per game. And that's probably skewed with Flacco, with 2 weeks of Flacco. Lassiter may be out again this week. And if it's D'Angelo Ross, it would make sense for him to be targeted in coverage instead of Stingley, right? So I feel like Stingley may not get much work to start with. And then we've got Anthony Richardson, who can't even complete 10 passes a game. So what do you think about that one?
Yeah, that seems like a good one too. I have him projected at 3.4, but it's taking into account the Colts matchup, which has been a lot of Joe Flacco this year. So I think with Richardson, you got a good bet on your hands with that one. And I'll throw one out here for you as well. One that I almost took, but I didn't have the balls to take it. Ryan Branch under 6.5 tackles against the Titans. Branch has actually, since the bye, week 4, Branch has come back and he's been the deep safety and has gone under this in both games. He's facing the Titans, who are the second worst matchup for safeties, allowing 10.8 tackles a game to the position, and they've only allowed 3 safeties to clear this number all year.
Yeah, no, I could see it, man. And just how many opportunities are they going to get too? Like this Detroit team, I would not be surprised if they're on offense for like 40 minutes this week. That would not shock me at all.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of my thought too. Biggest worry was that the last 2 weeks they've played the Vikings and the Cowboys, so maybe they have a little change in defensive philosophy this week against the Titans. So he might play a little closer to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, he's so good though that it's like, yeah, that's iffy, right? Like he's really talented. He could do it.
Right. And the people love the overs, so we went with overs instead.
That's it. We went with overs. All right, let me ask you one more thing, then we'll get out of here. So we talked about Nate Hobbs briefly beforehand. What's your thought process on that? Not recommending it, but just if someone wanted to look at it.
Yeah, I really didn't get a chance to deep dive into that one. I just saw it just popped up minutes before we got on, but 4.5 is pretty low for him. He's been living in the slot again. Last year, he went over both games against the Chiefs, had 8 tackles and 11 tackles. So those were the quick things that I saw. Lean to the over, but like I said, didn't have enough time to research it before we went on. So
yeah, no worries. And he's been red hot the last 2 weeks. Anyone that plays actual IDP knows he's been going crazy. Yeah. So yeah, good time to take him on the over maybe.
Yep, for sure.
Beautiful. Well, good stuff, man. We got some good ones out there. Please tell the people where they can find you. Tell them about the Discord too, so they can get those plays. Right when you get them. Any announcements for the crowd?
Yeah, you can find all my plays over in the RPO Football Discord. There's plenty of links on my Twitter, which is at tackleboxprops. If you need help finding it, you can always message me. I'll let you know where to go.
Yep. Beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you, man. I definitely appreciate it. And pleasure as always. You are the gold standard for this stuff. I'm just a tourist. So we thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Absolutely, man.
And thanks to Josh for the mic.
Yes. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we'll definitely try and get you back before the end of the year as well, no doubt.
All right, sounds good.
Beautiful. Well, hey, thank you everyone for listening. Before we get out of here, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for our other shows, the flagship IDP Show podcast, the IDP After Show, the IDP Trade Show, and IDP Drafts. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so for just $5 a month over at the idpshow.com. We've got premium features for paid supporters that we know you'll enjoy. Follow us on Twitter at the IDP Show, all one word. Thank you for listening and good luck this week. Everyone have a good week 8. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Take care. Bye-bye.